There are stories we tell children to make the dark feel smaller. And then there are stories we use to tell adults to keep them alive. This is one of those stories. One about a plant that looks human, acts human, and was once believed to scream when it was pulled from the earth. Not in myth, in real books, real recipes, real medical texts all across Europe. This is the Mandrake. Now, this story only exists because someone asked for it. A comment left under my Hand of Glory short, asking about the screaming mandrake and what J.K. Rowling left out. One viewer in particular, John, this one is for you. The mandrake is not imaginary. Its scientific name is Mandragora officinarum. It grows naturally in the Mediterranean, the Middle East, and parts of Central Asia. Above ground, it's unremarkable, with white leaves, small greenish flowers, yellow berries once called devil's apples. But underground, the roots grow thick, forked, and twisted, often into a shape that looks disturbingly human. Two prongs like legs, a central mass like a torso, sometimes smaller offshoots like arms. This isn't symbolism, it's botany. And it terrified people. As early as the 1st century AD, the Greek physician Dioscorides described mandrake in De Materia Medica. He listed it as medicine used for pain, sleep, even before surgery. But even then, it was treated with caution because mandrake didn't just numb the body, it altered the mind. By the Middle Ages, mandrake was no longer just a plant. All across Europe, people believed mandrake grew where humans died violently, on their gallows, at execution sites, along roads where criminals were buried. In Germany, France, England, the belief repeats with chilling consistency. Some said mandrakes grew from the bodily fluids of hanged men, that a violent death left something behind in the soil, and something grew back. The most famous belief was this: when the mandrake was pulled from the ground, it screamed. Not metaphorically, a human scream, high-pitched, piercing, full of pain. People believed that hearing it caused instant death, madness, or a lifelong misfortune. This belief appears in texts from the 12th century throughout the 1600s. People didn't mock it, they planned around it. Medieval herbals describe a very specific method. You loosen the soil, you tie a rope to the root, tie the other end to a dog, preferably a black dog. Cover your ears with wax. Look away, call the dog, and then the dog pulls. The mandrake comes free, the mandrake screams, the dog is said to die, and then the human lives. Mandrake contains real substances, propane alkaloids, atropine, scopolamine, hyoscine, cause hallucinations, delirium, confusion, paralysis, even loss of consciousness. Mandrake was used as an early aesthetic, but overdoses were common. People heard voices, saw things, lost time. So when someone said they heard screaming, sometimes they weren't lying. Now, if this sounds familiar, you've seen it in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Students wore earmuffs, mandrakes scream, Anyone who hears them is incapacitated. Rowling didn't invent the screaming mandrake. The wax in their ears is just medieval wisdom in disguise. Honestly, Harry Potter made it cute. The real mandrake was never safe. In Germany, the mandrake was called Alraune or Alraune. It wasn't just a plant, it was a household spirit. People carved mandrake roots into tiny human shapes, dressed them, fed them, washed them with milk or wine, kept them in boxes. The Alraune was believed to bring wealth, protect the home, increase fertility, but if you neglect it, it would ruin you. In France, it was called Mandragore, sold as an amulet, wrapped, hidden, passed down through families. Some were real, many were fake, people didn't care, they believed. France also had another object, la main de gloire, the hand of glory, a severed hand taken from an executed criminal, dried, preserved, sometimes prepared with herbs, including mandrake. A candle placed between its fingers. When lit, it was believed to paralyze households, put people to sleep, let thieves walk unseen. But if you want the full story on the Hand of Glory, I made a short video on that. It's linked below. By the 19th century, people didn't abandon these ideas. They refined them. Esoteric orders, occultists, Hermetic thinkers returned to medieval texts and said, "What if this isn't superstition?" Mandrake became a magical condenser, a vessel, an object believed to store human intention, not screaming anymore, but listening. The Alraune didn't disappear, she evolved. Mandrake sits where we get uncomfortable. A plant that looks human. A medicine that alerts the mind. A root tied to death. Science didn't erase the legend, it explained why it existed. And even today, Mandrake is restricted because it was never harmless. So when people said, "Do not pull it from the ground," they weren't being poetic, they were being careful. Some screams were meant to stay buried. Harry Potter gave us a screaming plant you survive with earmuffs. History, on the other hand, gave us roots dressed like children, hands taken from corpses, amulets that needed feeding, and a century where people decided the scream wasn't a warning, it was an invitation. Until next time.